What is up, YouTube fam? We are out here at George Ward Park and we are going to dive into one of those skills that I believe is overlooked by a ton of people, and there are honestly not a ton of videos out there trying to teach you how to do this, and that is to jump putt. You've seen it on Jomez, you've seen it on Central Coast, that amazing footage where people go through and decide, hey, you know what, this 50, 60-foot putt? Yeah, Drano. So how do we become those people that are sinking those putts from so far away? Well, I believe there are 5 questions that can guide us through this. We can answer those 5 questions, then I believe that we are gonna start sinking putts from miles away with complete confidence and ease. So, are you guys ready to start draining some putts and grabbing some birds? Hope you are. Let's jump on in. Who should do a jump putt? Well, I think the honest answer is anyone who wants to try. I would say if you're a beginner, learning a jump putt is probably not ideal because most beginners don't have a lot of consistency in their putting form anyways. If you don't have consistency in your normal putting form, adding a literal moving element to it could be a little hairy, some might say. People who should be using a jump putt are those who are looking to get that next step in their putting game. If you feel like, hey, I'm still learning my elements, I have tons of other videos out there for you to check out on putting. If you feel like, I don't really have a form yet for my putting, stop. Go watch the other video. Our next question is, what is a jump putt? A jump putt is where you use your momentum and your weight and power from your legs to give yourself that added distance like we were talking about before. The beauty of a jump putt is that it is actually controlled when you learn how to use it. A jump putt shouldn't be some wild throw it in the air and hope for everything to go right putt, because what that's going to do is leave you with some really far looks for your comebacker when you miss that jump putt. If you're finding yourself in those situations, perhaps it might be best to lay up for a while rather than trying out your jump putt during the middle of a round, especially if it's a round that matters. You should jump putt when there are a few key factors lined up. You should jump putt when you feel like you don't have the power to get to the basket on your putt. Second, you should jump putt when you realize there are no massive obstacles or things that are going to be behind the basket. A jump putt is going to have significantly more power than a normal putt, and so the room for error increases dramatically. A metal hit could lead to a big roll away. Like I said, it does give you more power, but with more power becomes more responsibility. Uncle Ben, we remember you. Why? Why would you jump putt? To gain increased power on your putt. When you find yourself out of range for a standard putt, the jump putt becomes a very valid option for you to gain more birdie opportunities, to gain more par opportunities. You know, sometimes our putt reaches a certain limit, and that's okay. That limit is different for different people, but when we find those distances, we know when jump putting becomes available. One of the biggest questions anytime you putt is asking, where am I supposed to aim? And it gets really tough, especially when you're far out trying to do a jump putt. Well, worry no more. I have the perfect product in today's video sponsor. DiscDot is a brand new product on the market that is helping people gain confidence on the putting green in an entirely new way. It's designed to help you gain that consistency by making a colorful dot a point of focus instead of just a single link. This rubber blend tool is easy to move and so simple. It's reusable and durable, and you're going to have a variety of options when it comes to the color. Maybe you don't want to use a DiscDot. They have other products as well that are just as amazing. Distance markers, zipper pulls for your brand new bag. Whatever you can think of, they either have it or it's currently in the works. I love the team at DiscDot and am honored to work alongside them. We wanted to help you guys out. If you head on over to disc.usa.com, you can use the code RCDiscGolf to not only help support the channel, but get yourself a little 10% off. Speaking of helping yourself, let's learn how to do some jump putting. Asking the whole time. All right, Robbie, how do I jump putt? There are a few important things that are part of every single successful jump putt, and I want to dive into those real fast. The first detail we want to talk about when talking about the finer details is, where does the power of a jump putt come from? Well, the power of a putt anywhere usually comes from your legs, and a jump putt is no different. During a jump putt, what you're going to do is you are going to line up as if you were doing a normal putt. But I would suggest making your stance a little bit wider, because you're going to be leaning back and exploding forward. Now, in order to not create a wild putt, in order to make something that is controlled, we have to let the power transfer into the disc before we start flying. The power is going to lean and it's going to hit right here. I'm going to push it back and it's going to hit. And what's going to carry, the reason a jump putt is helpful is because our momentum is going to guide the disc a little farther. Think about it when you're hitting a tennis ball and you give topspin. You don't hit right here and just stop, right? You follow through, just like we're following through on everything else in disc golf. We want to follow through with our putt. We're going to lean back into it and we're going to explode, right? But remember, the disc has to be released before our foot leaves the ground. A jump putt is controlled. It's not just a wild kind of putt. We want to make sure that we are guiding the momentum forward towards the basket, which leads us to our second point. You should be following through and pointing at the basket. A successful putt is when we follow through and we're ended up almost pointing at the basket anyways. A jump putt is no different. So first we're gonna load the power up into our legs. The second thing we wanna do is we wanna make sure we're following through. The third thing, and honestly what I would say is the most important, is making sure that the disc doesn't come out too fast. A lot of the time when you see a wobbly putt, what that means is that you don't have enough spin on the disc to match the acceleration and the speed that the disc is moving. Let me use this for example. If I wanna throw this putter here at the basket, then what's gonna happen is I need to make sure that I'm not raising up too fast, because if I raise up too fast and I don't give the disc enough spin, it's gonna come out wobbly, which is going to be especially tricky when we're jumping into our putt. And I want you to think about nice and controlled, because once again, all of the power and explosiveness of the disc is coming before I even leave the ground. Here, I'm gonna do this pointed at the camera so you guys can see this. It's down and it's up, right? It's down and up. Make sure you're giving spin to the disc and not just wildly throwing it. And I would suggest starting at a closer distance, perhaps even starting jump putts at a distance that you feel like, hey, I can hit those putts normally. You always want to start closer because you're going to teach yourself how to make it rather than miss it. Let's say that at 35 feet, I can make normal putts. And let's see if we can sink a jump putt by combining all three. I'm going to start. I'm going to load the power back. I'm gonna think about following through, and then nice and slow, ta-da! I put it in the basket. Jumping through, I followed through, I pointed, and I didn't accelerate too fast. Now, for those of you who have stuck with us through the whole video so far, I hope that this is helpful for you, and if there are things I didn't cover in this video, I want you to go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I'll respond to each of those individually. And that is gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that it was helpful. Once again, jump putting is not something that every beginner should start diving into, and there are so many people that mess up jump putts and do them incorrectly. But I hope that with these tips and answering these questions, you are gonna start finding the way to drain these putts from miles away. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe if this content was helpful at all. We have new content here on the channel every Thursday. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with the birdie.